You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers, about hikers, for everybody.
This is the Hammock Hangers Podcast, where we hang out and talk about everything from hammocks and hammock camping to the group hangs from around the country. Welcome back, fellow hangers, thrill seekers, and outdoor enthusiasts to the Hammock Hangers Podcast, the show where we untangle the threads of adventure, relaxation, and everything in between. I am your host, Paul Collins, or y'all know me as Skunkape, and I invite you to join us on a journey suspended between the trees where the air is filled with the sweet symphony of rustling leaves and the promise of untold stories. Here in our hammock world, we explore the art of hanging loose, both figuratively and literally, whether you're a seasoned hammock guru or a curious soul looking to sway into the world of suspended bliss. We've got a cozy spot just for you. So grab your favorite hammock, kick off your shoes, and let's soar into the world of the Hammock Hangers Podcast. Hang tight, relax, and let the adventure unfold. All right, everyone. Our guest this week is Alex Shirley-Smith, he is the CEO of Tentsile. Would you say hammocks or tents?
We say tree tents, and that was publicly coined. We didn't come up with that. That was just what people online started calling us.
Okay, because I know that's kind of a loose. You're suspended between trees, which is a hammock.
Yep.
But it's the size of a tent, and you got all that room and everything. So
yeah, that's right. It's that's kind of what we say. The comfort of a hammock, but with the multi-person occupancy and space of a tent.
There you go. Okay. Now, before we get started, you are actually my furthest guest away that I think I've ever had. You're actually 5 hours ahead of me. It's 6:12 p.m. Florida time here, so it's 11:12 at night over in the UK where you are.
That's right. So you'll have to excuse me if I yawn.
Yeah,
everyone in my house is asleep, so I can't shout too much.
Gotcha. I'm sure you've had a long day too. So, but okay. So, well, I like to get to know my guest and a little bit about their background and everything. First off, so just tell us a little bit about yourself. Basically how you got into like the camping and outdoors and all that good stuff.
So I guess I've always been an inventor and curious about making stuff and sort of like how different physics works. And I was always making marble runs and sets of make it your own toys and stuff as a kid. So I was always like handy with my hands and curious about how stuff's put together, and always quite aware about sort of environmental issues and the slow sort of consumption of the planet, basically, as we kind of speed up and increase our population. And I was kind of always aware of that through my parents and their friends and stuff like that. So when I saw a piece on a children's BBC news program when I was 6 about the destruction of the Amazon rainforest, I just couldn't understand what was, why the adults of the world were allowing that to happen, because as a 6-year-old, it just was obvious to me that this was a really vital ecosystem for the planet. Right. Due to its size, due to its complexity, due to its sort of like positioning on the globe. And you know that the world needs deserts and seas and forests, and why are we chopping the forest down? That's going to end in disaster. So, but as a 6-year-old, you're like, well, what can I do about that? There's nothing I can do about it. This is nuts, and there's nothing I can do about it. And then 6 months after that, some people may have heard this story before because I'm not shy about telling it, and I've told it far and wide. But 6 months after that, I was taken to by my grandmother to see Return of the Jedi, the third Star Wars sequel.
Right.
And halfway through, they showed the Ewok village, and I was like, whoa, that's how you save trees. You put people in trees and then they can't chop them down. So ever since then, I was like drawing and sketching, and how do you attach to tree houses. And that went into my sort of love for architecture. I studied architecture. I qualified as an architect. I specialized in environmental design and tree houses. And then I worked as a treehouse architect for about 7 or 8 years before the collapse of the market in 2007, 2008.
Okay.
And then when no one was buying sort of big, expensive tree houses anymore at that time, I was like, well, I'm not done with bringing treehouse joy to the masses. How can I do this on a cheaper scale? And I kind of was going through my sketchbooks, and I found an idea that I'd had as a student when I was 19 back at architecture school. And it was to create usable space out of pure tension. So you don't need as much materials to make space out of tension, which is why suspension bridges and, tensile structures like that have much less embodied energy and much less materials to make it work. And so I decided that I was going to try my hand at making one of these drawings for real. And I did. And I put it on the internet, and it sort of went bonkers. So I kind of knew that I had something that people were interested in. Then I teamed up with a product designer, and we refined the design, and we came up with the Stingray, and Tentsile was born. A pop-up treehouse in a bag, basically. It's space for 3 people. It's about 16 to 18 pounds. Including 3.5 ton ratchets, which create the tension needed to, keep you safely suspended off the ground. So effectively, you've got a floating tent with the comfort of a hammock, but the space of a tent.
Okay,
that's basically my story in a nutshell.
Gotcha. So now, how much did you do a lot of camping stuff when you were a kid?
Yeah, we did. We did a lot of camping stuff, all ground camping. But when I was in my 20s, I got really heavily into, because I was already into trees. I was already into how to live in the forest, what kind of forest shelters there are and stuff like that. So I was introduced to Hennessy hammocks when I was about 25. I got bought a Hennessy hammock for Christmas present. And it was like, I don't know what you say in American, like when it's snowing, is that in the 20s? Is that 20s Fahrenheit? Is that kind of like?
It depends. Usually
it
around.
Was snowing.
We don't get a whole lot here in Florida.
Yeah, so it was Spokane, Washington State. So it was it was snowing. It was Christmas, and instead of staying in the nice warm house, I decided that I was going to do my first camp out that Christmas day, and then I kind of never looked back. So I became a real fan and a little bit addicted to buying hammocks and accessories and making it better and better, but I just never could get over the fact that there just wasn't enough space sideways. I always felt a little bit claustrophobic and a little bit alone, because you are alone in a hammock. Even if your mate is there in another hammock, you're still kind of, 2 tarps away. And so the idea of the Tentsile, kind of bringing people together in having that same kind of magical suspended hideaway experience was something that really excited me. And when we came up with the idea of Tentsile, it kind of went pretty viral and successful quite quickly. And I guess we hit a nerve out there. Like, people just liked it. And as you know, you're about to do, I don't know, Hang Kong, what is it, 20, the 20th Hang Kong, 18th Hang Kong, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
You've got like 500, 600 people coming. So you know that people love hanging out in trees. Yeah. And the community's out there, and the community's strong. And that's the same community that I like to be a part of. Nature lovers, get outdoors and live your life.
It is pretty awesome being around like-minded people like that. I mean, what you were saying a minute ago, about what you saw on TV and the destruction and everything else. Here in Florida, there's a lot of that. I mean, everywhere we turn, they're cutting down trees and everything else to build more and more houses and shopping plazas and everything else. My wife actually hates taking me down certain roads. If she goes down a road and she sees that they've started leveling it, she tries to avoid me going down that road because she knows how I get, whenever I see that stuff. And I mean, it just aggravates the mess out of me.
Yeah, it's depressing to watch the destruction of the natural world for me, basically.
And I mean, people wonder why, it feels like it's getting hotter and hotter every year. Well, I mean, essentially it is, because you replace, take away trees and grass and you put down nothing but concrete and asphalt.
Yeah.
It's a heat coming down, heat coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, one of the reasons I really, want to be part of this podcast, part of a Hang Kong movement, part of the hammocking world, part of the kind of environmentalist awareness groups, is because I think, we are all kind of disparate at the moment, but events like yours really do bring people together and people of like-mindedness. And at some point, we're going to reach a critical mass and be able to do something, hopefully, to change the way that we are moving forward in this world. Because there are other ways. There are other ways that are going to benefit our kids and their kids. And if we lose what we've got, we will rue the day.
Right.
To put it mildly.
Exactly. So now, okay, you're the CEO of Tentsile, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I've of course, sat here and have like just gone through your website and everything else, just basically stalked you for a while. So it looks like it's you and you got brothers also.
I got brothers. Yeah.
Okay.
It took off really fast. Tentsile took off really fast. Took us all bit by surprise. And at first, it was just me and the product designer. We were partners, and very quickly, it got too big for just two people to manage. And just luckily for me, I've got brothers that I get along with, and they're both pretty smart and they can turn their hand to most things. And one of them was a carpenter and one of them was a primary school teacher. And one by one they dropped out of their professions and came on board with Tentsile. And we have benefited from their skills. And I think having three brothers heading up the company, three brothers and a sister-in-law now as well. And actually a sister-in-law's brother. It's a family affair. It really is. But like, those are people that I could trust that needed work at the right time, and they came on. They've done a great job. So, what you're going to do? You're going to take on the people that make the company fly. And I've been very lucky with the people I've been surrounded by.
That's awesome, and I'm sure that they all have the same mindset as like you and everything, and the mission and everything else.
Yeah, well, who doesn't? I mean, come on,
everybody
they must be in the minority. They're the people that's making all the money. That's where all the money's being sucked up to, is the people that want to cut down the trees. It's not average folk like us. We want to keep the trees. We want just enough money to have a good life, but we don't need billions of dollars. Like, who needs billions of dollars?
Right.
No one needs billions of dollars.
No, I mean, you won't ever be able to spend it all.
Yeah, you can't spend it all. Do you know it takes 11 days to count to 1 million and 32 years to count to 1 billion? That's the difference between 1 million and 1 billion.
That's nuts.
It's nuts.
That's nuts. So, okay, on your website, and I love this, the environmental stewardship, all the stuff that y'all do to try and help out, and like the carbon offsetting and the planting of the trees. And I mean, I've seen a few other companies out there that will plant a tree for each hammock sold, but y'all plant 20 trees.
Yeah, well, we were the first, certainly the first tent or hammock company to be planting trees, and we started off by planting 3 trees. We were a smaller company then, and it obviously made sense to plant 3 trees because our tents need 3 trees to be set up. But as we got more and more kind of as we gained traction in the market, we were like, we don't need to just stay planting 3 trees just because it's emblematic of our tents. We can plant more trees and do more good. So we partnered with more companies and planted, trees, with basically spreading the money, spreading the money that was coming in and putting more money back into different projects with different companies that were doing good in different parts of the world. So it's, we're a brand that's on an environmentalist mission. And our slogan is, if we're all hanging out in trees, they can't chop them down. And what we want is for everybody to be hanging out in trees, because if everybody's hanging out in trees, they won't be able to get into the forest with their bulldozers, because there'll be people there going, don't take my trees.
I love it. And then the the carbon offsetting and all that, y'all try and limit the carbon.
Yeah. So we've taken all single-use plastics out of our products, recycled cardboard, everything's cardboard that needed to be in terms of packaging. There's no single plastics, there's no wrappers, there's no bits of, one use, anything, clips, rings, nothing in our tents. Our tents should last 5, 8, 10 years, depending on how you maintain them. So we don't make a product that you have to replace in 2 or 3 years' time. We want a product that's going to last you a generation, going to see your kids through their childhood, going to take you for 10 years worth of camping if you look after it well. We have an upcycling program with the Utah State University. So when we're contacted by any of our customers, oh, my tent has finally kind of met its maker, it's shot, got to get rid of it. We give them a 20% discount on a new one if they send their old tent to Utah State University for the product designers to cut up and recycle for their student projects. So we have this ongoing sort of upcycling, reuse, program that goes on.
Okay. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. So I'm actually kind of curious. How is the camping and stuff over there in the UK? I mean, do y'all have a lot of trees and stuff like that? I mean,
no.
what is it like over that way?
We chopped all our trees down to go and make an empire about 300 years ago. So we've got few trees. I think we've got about something like 10 or 12% coverage.
Really? Okay.
And if you benchmark that against France, that's got about 35% coverage, tree coverage. We're doing pretty badly. Camping is quite a big pastime in the UK, but it's field camping. Everyone goes to a field, sets up their tent next to the next pitch, and it's a little bit. I mean, you make friends for sure. You get to know your neighbors and all of that stuff, and there's still a community vibe that goes on, but it's not the kind of wild camping that Scandinavians or Germans or North Americans or other parts of the world are used to a more wild vibe, being really immersed in sort of wilderness and the great outdoors. That said, there are still good forests in the UK, and where there are good forests, they are usually privately owned by the landed gentry, which are the aristocratic class of our small island that still own, 70% of the land or something like that. And now they are turning their eye to how can they make their farmland, it's historically been farmland, how can they make their land pay? And, ancient oak woodlands and stuff like that, they're protected now, so they can't chop them down and make money from the land or build houses on them. So they're looking for solutions like ours to go into those forests, pop up our tree tents and make money to help manage the forest, help manage the sustainability of their farms and their land by renting out our tree tents in camps that we call Tentsile experience camps, which are now popping up all over the world. Because if you've got an incredible beauty spot, you want a leave no trace solution. You don't want to start building huts or even worse, a 3-story hotel on it. You want people to come and be able to see that beauty spot and then leave and have zero trace of them being there. So the next lot of people can come and have the same experience in the same kind of pristine wilderness as the last set. So our tents provide that kind of, low touch, communal atmosphere, and in and out, pop up, pop down.
Okay. I know I've watched a lot of the videos, because now you actually sent me one of the stingrays,
Mhm.
which I will be setting up at HangCon to show off and demo and let people, let our guests, get in it and try it out and everything else. And then I know you sent it was the Trillium
Mhm.
for the raffle.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a heck of a prize to be won there.
Yeah.
But now I've seen, I love watching a lot of the videos that y'all have,
Mhm.
how you have taken and how you stack
Yeah.
the
The tree tents
different
and the hammocks.
units
Yeah.
to make like a tower.
Yeah. Yeah. So all of our products are designed to be modular. So yeah, we've got 1 person, 2 person, 3 person, and then you can start clipping them together or stacking them vertically above, so you can have a tower, sleep 3, 6, 9, 12. And then we've got accessories that encase that whole tower, so you've got no open sides for people to fall out. So these things we call them double bubbles, which basically link the sides to make insect-proof walls around.
Okay.
So you get that feeling of being really enclosed, and you can go up to the next level using a rope ladder, and the next level and up to the top tent and stuff like that. And then we've got wind and rainproof walls that go on the outside of all of that. So basically you can have, the biggest tower we've ever done, I think, was a 7 stack. So, and that was in the Redwoods when we did a Tentsile camp out back in 2018 in a camp called Camp Navarro, Northern California. That was amazing. And so they're all modular. They're supposed to fit together. They are designed like that because usually when someone buys one of our products, what they want to do is they want to add to it. The next year, They want a new level. They want new walls. They want a double bubble. They want to cut out the wind. They want to insulate it. They want to buy the quilts. They want to buy the quilted cabins. I mean, we've got quite a range of stupid and creative. Stupidly creative, I should say, not stupid, because none of them are stupid, but they do look wacky and weird. But it's all part of this collection that basically is designed to make your stay in the forest as comfortable and fun as possible.
Right. Well, I know I took the one that you sent me up to Fall Sprawl and set it up, and had several people, interested in looking at it and everything else, and climbed up in it, and it was very comfortable, very, very comfortable.
I have to say that one of the barriers that I guess we face as a kind of category busting product, because we don't fit into the tent and we don't fit into the hammock exactly, but one of the things that I found when we're doing demo days, people are quite reticent to get into them. And I'm not sure exactly why. I think a lot of people are shy. A lot of people just don't want to fall on their ass, when I mean that, I mean, as they fall back into the hammock and get cozy, like their feet go up, right? So people in skirts, no, old people are very wary. But if you can convince them to take that little leap of faith, and you're going to love it kind of thing, and they get in, they're converted. It is a wonderful experience to have that slightly floating up and down bounce, but with no restrictions on your body. Like, you can lie there with your hands behind your head and your elbows out, and you can read, and you can turn the pages, and you can front lay, side lay, back lay, and you can talk to your friends while you're doing it. It's I love them. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing what I do.
Right. Yeah, I love how y'all have the center bottom entry, but also the zippered side, so you can get in and out on the sides if you wanted, and then all the different pockets inside and actually underneath.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah, we've tried to make it just, we've listened to all the feedback that's coming back from our users over the years, and every year we add a new feature. Whatever people are asking for, whether it's more pockets or this or that, but having exit and entrance doors on every side so that people don't have to crawl over each other. That's really important. And the central hatch is a great feature. It just means that if you pop yourself through that central hatch, you can reach pretty much any part of the tent. So like if you've left your phone, in a pocket by your bed, you don't have to climb in. You just like pop up and grab it. And also that central hatch is vital for the stacking. So when you're usually using a rope ladder or something like that, it tends to swing under the tent, and the rope ladder just allows you to, because it's central in the floor plan of the tent, you don't get that swing. You can connect the top and the bottom of that ladder to the hatches, and it stays fast.
Gotcha. So talk about some of the different styles and versions that you have available.
All right. So, we've got two main ranges, the hammocks and the tents, tree tents. And so the hammocks, they come in they come in 1 person, 2 person, 3 person, and 6 person. We've got a massive one, which is Trillium XL. It's absolutely huge. I mean, I had about 25 kids on it at the end of summer term. We brought it along to the when school got out, and the whole class just jumped on it and played on it for 3 hours straight. And I was sort of standing to the side, wondering when it was going to pop. But it didn't, man. It was just, they're very strong, very well made. We haven't really skimped on anything because it's just not worth it. Safety's paramount. So if you're making products where you want families to stay suspended up in the air, you're going to make them so they don't break, right? You're going to we've got a 3 times safety factor on the load limit that we set on the tents, so that we know that even if you're bouncing on it, on the downswing, when everyone's, there's like a dynamic load on that, right? And that the forces peak. So we've calculated all of that in, because I'm an architect, do it properly. So the hammocks, the hammock range is one thing, and then the tent range, 1 person, 2 person, 3 person. Then of course you can stack them, or clip them together. Like the 2 person connect, they clip together to make a trilogy. So you're not stacked, you're kind of connected sideways. So you make a huge spaceship.
I think I've seen the video for that as well.
Yeah, really, really fun. And then there's a rainfly dome that goes over the central piece. So you've got a communal area, and then you've got your couples pods to the sides. And then and even the hammocks, they come with pole sockets, so you can retrofit roof kits to them. So if you go in entry level, I'm getting a 3-person hammock, and next year you're like, I want to sleep in this, you can buy the mosquito net, the poles, and the rainfly to add it up to a proper tree tent.
Okay, so like the Trillium, people can like the one that you sent for the raffle, whoever wins that can add on to it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We'll have pole sockets. It will have pole sockets at each of the corners, so you just get a roof kit.
Okay.
And it will fit.
Well, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. It's all modular. Like everything can be added on to everything else. So we've made it that way so that people can really buy into the brand and increase the enjoyment over the years, by building out their product.
Gotcha. And then I remember somebody, whenever I took the Stingray up to Ball Sprawl, I remember somebody asking about the underquilts. It's like, well, what do you do? Do you have to use a pad, or what? And that was actually before I knew that y'all had the quilts, because y'all actually just sent me a quilt also to display in it. So I mean, there is an actual quilt that I guess you can put on the inside or under it. Yeah, exactly. We've designed it so there are Velcro patches on the inside, so you can have it as a nice silky soft inner, or you can attach it to the underside of the tent. And if it's really cold, you go underneath and inner, and then you've got a real cozy setup there. So yes, we've made everything so it's kind of versatile. You can use it the way you want to use it, and you can put extra padding. And it cups the underside of the tent, so
you can add clothes in there if you want to really buff up the R rating.
Okay, I gotcha. Well, I know. I think a lot of people are gonna really enjoy it.
I
When
hope
we
so.
get it set up and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm really looking forward to the feedback you give us.
I know. I forget which HangCon it was. Probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I remember seeing one for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was a couple of ladies that had come to HangCon, and that's what they were using. And so I mean it caught my attention then, because I mean of course I'd never seen one, seen anything like it. I thought it was pretty neat. So I mean I think there's gonna be some interest in it.
Well, there's going to be a QR code on the labels that we've given you on the display products, and that'll get any of your attendees at the HangCon a 30% discount on anything they want to buy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
awesome.
that's exclusive for your event.
Okay. All right, so all you gotta do is scan that QR code if they want to buy something, and that will take them to the store, and then whatever they buy, it automatically puts in the 30%.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Simples.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate that. So, but
well, you got some of the best names in the business coming to your place, so we really wanted to be a part of it. We wish we could be there because like it's a great community to be part of. Everyone's so friendly. Everyone's working together towards the same goal, wanting to be outside, wanting to make products for people to enjoy the outdoors. Better for longer, and so we will make it one day, Paul. Don't worry, we will be there. We just can't make it this year.
We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you come over and join us. I mean, each year HangCon gets bigger and bigger, and I mean, I think we've got 30, 32, 33 of the states from over here represented. Canada is represented. There is actually somebody from the UK coming.
Yep. Wow.
And also Denmark.
Oh yeah, they love it. The Danes love it. Yeah, there's another one that's going to be happening, I think, in Ireland in June. It's not called HangCon, but it is basically a HangCon. It's a wilderness festival.
Okay.
And I'm really looking forward to that as well. They're going to be showing how to do cooking on fire, forest foraging and stuff like that. So it's a great community.
So do y'all have a lot of hangs over there in the UK, or
there are some in Germany, there are some in Italy, and I think France has some, but in the UK, nothing on the size of what I mean, nowhere is on the size of HangCon, Florida. So I mean, you're talking 50 people max, most of them. I think the Irish one that's happening in 2024 June, I think they're looking at 150 participants, something like that.
Okay. Do y'all just have like one or two a year though, or do y'all have throughout the year? I mean, are there multiple hangs?
No, we've got colder climes than you've got down in Florida, Paul.
That's true.
we've got a short season. Starts around end of April, finishes mid-September.
Okay. So y'all have only now that's the 5 months that you're able to go out?
Well, it's the 5 months that I would say 98% of people go out.
Right.
I mean, there are always hardcore enthusiasts that.
Oh yeah, I mean we got those over here too. I mean, we have up north the cold butt hangs and stuff like that. And I'm sure you've seen Shug.
Yeah.
In his videos.
Yeah.
He loves the winter camping. Yeah. So I want to try it myself.
Well, I'm a member of a few hammocking forums, and they're always showing off their latest and greatest, insulated gear. And it's quite amazing to watch. There's a lot of real technical gearheads out there that like to spend on their rig. So, it's so fun. It's so fun. You buy bits and pieces, and slowly you make your hammock or better. You get latest rain fly, something, a weather shield, snake skins, the whole bit. It's a lifestyle, and it's a lovable hobby, like car collecting, or fixing up an old car.
It can be an expensive hobby too.
Yeah. But most hobbies that adults indulge themselves in are quite expensive, whether it be golf or yachting or whatever.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, we love it, and it's like any new gadget that comes out, you got to try it. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Well, maybe if we come next January, we'll bring something new to show everybody.
Okay. That'll work. You can debut it at
I might debut it there. Yeah, I'm working on something a bit silly at the
moment. Several companies debut stuff at HangCon.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to have a few this year that are going to be debuting new stuff.
It's a great place to get some real life, real time feedback. So you can present it, you can get 50 people's opinions, you can go back to the drawing board, tweak it, make it better, and make sure that it's as good as it can be before you launch it. Yeah.
That is true.
It's a great way to do stuff.
Well, yeah, we'd definitely love for you to be able to make it over, in the future at some point. Mm-hmm. I mean, HangCon is always it's always from the Thursday before Martin Luther King Day all the way up until that Monday.
Yeah.
So
yeah, great.
Of course, about 6 months before each event is when I start sending out emails to everybody, just because I know a lot of places they have events that they go ahead and put on the calendar and all that. So
that makes sense. Give everybody a bit of a run up. Get it in the calendar. Make sure that it doesn't take them by surprise.
Yeah. Yep. So, but well, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up because I know it's almost 12 o'clock your time now.
Yep.
So I'm sure you're pretty tired.
I got a puppy to walk at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Oh Lord!
I'm gonna take him out now.
I do want to thank you for being a part of HangCon and being one of our donating partners.
Absolute pleasure.
I mean, it's companies like y'all that make HangCon. I mean, we've said this, several times on, some of our other episodes and everything else. It's companies like y'all that make HangCon what it is, because we always, and as long as we're able to do this, we're going to, and that's, keep HangCon as a free event for everybody to come to. And so with like all y'all's donations that y'all, send to the raffle and everything, that's one of the main incomes that we have, to fund everything. I mean, and, we provide breakfast and dinner for the whole time. So, I mean, we easily spend, I mean, AJ, he just went out last weekend before, when we were doing our planning weekend. He bought a bunch of the non-perishable stuff like the canned goods and stuff like that we're going to need. And I think he, already spent like $1,200 just there, and we still got to go and get like the meats and the eggs and everything else. So, I mean, we easily have, $2,500, $3,000 just in the food and everything.
Yeah. Why don't, I mean, I know I'm going to make a lot of enemies, but why don't you just like ask for a nominal $30 each per head?
Well, I mean, there's several reasons. One, I mean, HangCon has always been a free event, even, with the old organizers. But we have had several people in the past that, like just say a family, a mother, a father, and, 2 or 3 kids that they actually use HangCon as like their family vacation. Because, I mean, a lot of people can't afford to go to like Disney and stuff. I mean, I live here in Florida. And with the cost of what Disney and everything is now, there's no way I would be able to afford it.
Was it like $300 a ticket or something?
It's nuts. I mean, for what they charge, and then once you get inside and you eat and everything else, it's just terrible. You know,
they don't provide free food with their ticket.
Shoot no. The last time I went to Disney, it was myself, my sister, my two nieces, and my son. And my oldest niece had just turned 12 years old. And when we went to buy the tickets, we told them 2 adults, you know, and 3 kids. And they looked at my niece and they're like, well, how old is she? And she was just like, and, you know, my sister was like, well, she's 12. Well, 12 and up is adult price.
Oh, my God.
You know, it's so nuts. Exactly, you know.
16.
So, and I mean, it's just terrible. So, yeah, I mean, some families will use HangCon as like their family vacation and stuff. And so, I mean, as long as we're able to keep it free, you know, we're going to. And I mean, that don't seem to be a problem. You know, because we do have, you know, like I said, the sale of the raffle tickets.
Yeah.
But we also have, you know, people and companies that will do a monetary donation as well. Yeah. So,
well, it's got to be sustainable. Otherwise, I mean, you want it to have longevity. You want it to carry on forever, and it needs to be sustainable financially for you guys that are organizing it. So, I mean, even if you wanted to keep it a free event and had, you know, donations, you know, like $30 is $30 as a suggested donation.
Yeah. And I mean, that's roughly, I mean, we have put that out there, you know, that if anybody, you know, of course, you know, anybody that wants to donate, you know, we will gladly accept it because, you know, like I said, if we don't meet, you know, the cost with donations or raffle sales, then it comes out of our pockets.
Yeah, it's done. And you can't keep.
And I mean, in all, it roughly cost, I think last year it was around $12,000 total.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just going to get more.
It will. I mean, the more people, expensive. Of course, you know, but knock on wood, so far, you know, we've, you know,
covered it.
It's been covered, you know, and, you know, I mean, everybody loves coming to it. So
it's going to be great. I can't wait to see, you know, the footage and all of the content that comes out of it on your social media platforms. I'm going to
be taking lots of pictures and, you know, video and stuff like that. I'm going to try to do, you know, like a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live or something like that.
Yeah.
But the cell signal over there is a little sketchy at times. So I don't know if that will even work or not, but if it does, be awesome.
Yeah.
But
good luck.
So appreciate it. And again, like I said, thank you for your support and everything. And do you got anything else before we go?
No, it's our pleasure. I'm looking forward to when we do join you. And until then, like, hang safe. Like, have a good hang.
All right.
Thanks, Paul. Really, really nice talking to you.
Same here. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. I will have all the links and everything in the show notes so that any of y'all that are curious or interested in the Tentsile Hammocks tents, you can go and check them out on their website, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media platforms. I have all those links. And, you know, if you're coming to HangCon and everything, just remember that there's going to be a 30% discount. So anyhow, make sure to follow us on social media as well. And until next time, happy hanging, everyone.